Hey y'all, welcome back. If you didn't know, my name's Smitty, and we're in the middle of a 4L60E build. So I hope you like what you see. If you do, please consider subscribing. Turn that notification bell on so you get all the latest updates and when I upload new videos and so on and so forth. Smash that like button. Share it with your friends. Leave me comments. I do read the comments, and I like hearing from y'all. So, with that being said, we're going to get right into it. Today we're back on the 4L60E doing the input housing. And we'll go through that one, and yeah, let's get going. Alright, let's get all that stuff off there. Set that off to the side. Alright, first we got to prepare the input housing. Alright, inside here there is a groove. Man, I don't know how I'm going to do this so you all can see it. Get my bearings right. I might have to use a pick. Alright, if you look down in here, right where I've got my pick, which is right above this top lip here, there's a groove there for an O-ring. If you look in that hole right there, you can see it. Right below that air hole, there's a groove there. There's an O-ring that goes there. And remember what I was telling you the other day about they being color coded? That O-ring happens to be like it's an olive, kind of an olive green one, this one right here. That one right there. So let's get that one out. This dude right here. Okay. Always lube everything. It keeps you from running the risk of ripping the seal when you get in there. Just kind of start it in the groove and roll your fingers around the housing and it'll pop in there. If you can see it in there, that's where that O-ring goes. Alright. Now, next is going to be your 3/4 piston, which we'll set that down. These are all your assembly that goes in there. You got these two, your return spring, there's your 3/4 piston, and your overrun piston, that's your 3/4 apply ring, if you will. Alright, so you're going to need this first, and this sits down in that. So take and lube up your sealing surface. Smaller hands work a lot better for this, by the way. I've never been blessed with small hands. Even though you lubed your O-ring on when you were putting it in, lube it again. So it looks kind of like that. The worst thing you can do on an automatic is the same thing on an engine. You don't want to put it together dry. So lube your piston seals up. then that'll just sit down in there. Just like that. Alright. Next is going to be your ply ring. Sits right down in there like that. Okay. Then your return spring. Sits in there like that. Make sure the check ball rattles in this. Hear it? Alright. I'm going to tell you this is the way that I do it, just because it works. I like to put these two together and then put the whole assembly in. It makes it a heck of a lot easier. So again, lube your surfaces up. Lube your inside surface. And then this one's got a seal on the outside. This one's for your O-ring. That's for your O-ring on the inside, and then your lip seal on the outside. And then lube this surface. And slide these two together like that. Okay, now there's a seal protector. Looks like this. Goes right on there. And that will protect your seal when you put it in. Then these tangs right here that are on the side, these big fat ones, right there, those line up with the big grooves in your housing. One right here, 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 and here, here. Those line up with those. Just like that. Just push it down in there and it's good to go. Alright, now this housing has been modified. Right here it's got a sleeve that's been added because they've added an overrun clutch piston. I've not used one of these aluminums, but the difference is the reason why they do that is because they have a case where it can actually break this top of this shaft off. So they put this reinforcement on there to help it. So we need to find some seals for this. I kept the old ones because it looked like it might be one that's like the old style aluminum pistons. Yeah, like that one right there. Let's see how well that one fits. Oh, that's too big. That one might look like that's a ticket. Yep. Alright, that fits like a champ. Got the lip seal in there. And then the other one is an O-ring. Now I looked at this O-ring and there's not a thing wrong with it. Normally I wouldn't reuse this, but this is an aftermarket piston and I don't have the seal for it. But, you know, this thing didn't have hardly any miles on it, so we'll be okay with it. Put that O-ring back in the piston. There we go. Alright. Again, lubricate your seal surface. Lubricate your seals. Get that dude in there. Yeah, see, we can't use the smaller one since they've put that sleeve on there. Now I can't get it off because my hands are full of goop. Alright. Let's I'm gonna use a little feeler blade action. Get a somewhat thin one here. If you use a feeler blade, be very gentle because you can cut a lip seal real easy. And I think what's happened on this one is it managed to curl up on one side. Yep, I can see it. There we go. Just had to hold your tongue right, but it went down in there. Alright. So then, you've got your return spring. Whatever the hell I did with that. There it is. So go down there on like that. And we had to get a new retaining ring because the one that was on there was very distorted. It was definitely not usable. I had to get a new ring. Sorry y'all, I can't get used to this camera. So, alright, now that you got that, here's your press tool. I always like to set my snap ring down in there first. Once you get on there, crank her down until it exposes the snap ring groove. I really don't like the way that snap ring is fitting in there. There it goes. Alright, got the snap ring in there. You got to make sure that that snap ring's all the way seated. The actual return spring locks the snap ring in so it doesn't come out. Alright. Now, you can check these while you got it out, while you got the clutches out, but I'm going to warn you, you have to control the air pressure. And just the only thing you want to do, if you want to check to see, if they move while you got it out, is if you want to check to see if they move, you can't apply full line pressure, you can't pull whatever you can do. You just want to squirt it enough to see if they move, because you run a risk of blowing the seal out if you overextend the piston. You don't want to do that. You know, just enough to seat it off if you want to see to make sure it moves like it's supposed to before you put the clutches in it. That's fine, but don't go hog wild with it, because you'll overextend it and blow the seal out, then you'll be doing the whole thing over again. Alright. You have 3 holes. The top one on the shaft is your overrun clutch. Your second one is your 3/4 clutch. Your forward clutch. And then your bottom one, right there, is your 3/4. When you check it, this, and I can't get used to this dang camera, this check ball right here should seat, shouldn't leak any air. You shouldn't have any air if you do a wet test. You shouldn't have any air around the center of the shaft. If any bubbles come up around the rest, you shouldn't have any bubbles come up around your shaft when you do a wet test. I usually use transmission fluid, and shouldn't have leak out of there, out of that hole right there. So your bottom hole is your overrun, and it's all right to get some air out of your forward clutch hole, checking your overrun, because those two are related. But as you can see, it moves, and I'm applying very little air pressure, just enough to get the piston to move. Okay, your next one is your forward. Again, it's not uncommon to have a little bit of air bleed out the overrun. As you can see, it moves. It snaps back good and solid. And then your last one is your 3/4. Just like that. Now you can't put more pressure to it I know you can't see that, but this check ball right here will actually seat. So I can get my hand out of the way. See? Alright, the last thing we're going to do for this series on this particular video is we're going to put our seal rings on. So we need to find this one right here. This has got all of our Teflons in it. The smaller white ones are the ones we're after. Grab those. Alright, you can do these multiple of ways, installing these rings. The biggest thing you got to be careful with is not to cut them. But I invested the money and bought the tool. Slides on there. Alright, well, this tool is not being very nice to me, so basically what we're doing is we'll take this Teflon ring, slide it over the piece here, just take and slide it down the shaft with your fingers, and that's what I was afraid was going to happen. This tool, y'all, is supposed to be one piece. Now, I don't know if I just got a cheap one that they decided to make when they ran out of the other ones, but this is supposed to be one piece. They're not supposed to be a union right there, which makes it real difficult to use the thing. But, alright, I got it past that. Slide this down and then just pick it up far enough that you can get it in your seal ring groove, like that, and kind of squeeze it together with your fingers. Try to squeeze it in the groove with your fingers. Get it pretty close. Then we've got this thing called a sizer. It actually will make the ring the correct size. I have you know I've never had this much trouble with putting these seal rings on. So here's plan B. Get your hose clamp and kind of alright, well, I used a hose clamp down here to help get it into size, since we're obviously not in the right realm. The Teflon rings will have a memory, so to speak. So you have to recondition the ring to go in the groove, and it's got to be the right size. The earlier ones, they used scarf cut seals, which means the seal was split. And they found that these seal better. Alright, I went in there to check just to make sure that these were the correct, because of the correct tools. And the reason why is because the 700 has a smaller shaft, and this is the correct one. So this is the latest and greatest. I can tell you on the newer, like the 6L80, the 6T75, the sealing ring installers are a lot closer tolerance. And then you slide the sizer on there, and there you go. So, got one left to go. But I'm going to tell you, I will be replacing this installer. Because it shouldn't have that. To me, it shouldn't have that freaking break in it. It just, I don't know, to me that just seems like the whole thing's super cheap. There we go. Alright. I'll leave that on there for a couple minutes. It just needs to be on there for a short while, because what we'll do is right before we're ready to put everything back together, we'll put the sizer on there again and resize those to make sure that it's the right size before we stick it together. So there you go, there's your 4 seal rings. So that's going to do it for this video, y'all. The next one I'm going to show you, you'll have to come back tomorrow, and we're going to set up the clutch packs, and I'll show you how to measure the clearance on all of it, and we'll get the input housing together. And then of course the last thing we'll do is we'll start putting the case together. Then we'll show you some bushing repairs and that kind of stuff, but you need to replace the bushings when you do it. If you're going to do it right, you need to replace the bushings. So with that being said, until tomorrow, like what you've seen, make sure to subscribe, hit that like button, turn on the notification bell, make sure and comment and share with your friends. And I really appreciate y'all sticking with me on these videos and being a subscriber. It means a whole lot to me. So y'all take care of each other, y'all take care of yourself, and until next time, God bless you, and we'll see you then. Bye bye.